Yo guys, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be the red-green Oden leader from EB01 video, doing a little deck list guide and gameplay video. Unfortunately, with Sakazuki still around, until the bans happen, until OP07 comes, Oden, it's a little rough. It's a little rough for Oden, not gonna lie. Black matchups are just hard in general as well, but it's still really strong. It's still really fun. And I have some lists that I've used before and I've been cooking again with recently, and I'm going to show you guys some of my OP07 lists that I run as well, so you can kind of like get an idea for what to expect in OP07. But yeah, I just wanted to show what you can do with an EB01, because I still think it's a really strong deck. And yeah, we'll go over the leader, the deck list, and I'll show you guys the key cards and all that stuff, and then we'll have a little bit of gameplay at the end as well. So without any further ado, let's jump in and let's get started. Alright, so let's get started. Let's take a look here. So if you don't know, Oden's effect is essentially any Wano type character cards that you have that don't have a counter get plus 1000 counter. So it's really, really strong. You can just use this. So like all of your Okikus, your Denjiros, your Cat Viper blockers, your Yumas, they all get a plus 1k counter with this leader. And then the second effect is Dawn ×1 when attacking. If you have a cost 5 or greater, land a Wano character in play, this leader gets plus 1000 power until the start of your next turn. So extremely strong. That means until like for your turn when you're attacking, then your opponent's turn, and then when it comes back to you, that's when it stops working, right? So you're a 6k for your opponent's turn, and you're a 7k attacking with one Dawn. So it's really, really strong. And the great thing here is if your opponent removes one of your 5 costs, the effect is still valid, because it goes into effect when attacking, which is really strong. So even if they get rid of everything, like you're still a 6k no matter what on your opponent's turn. So at least there's that, you know. It is a 4 life, obviously red and green, and the thing here is like this leader is really cool, but there's not as much like deck building freedom like there is with, say, like Yamato or even Kinemon for that example. But like so you're kind of restricted to like having to use basically almost all Wano cards, because otherwise it just like not getting you essentially from like turn 2 or 3 you want to basically get leader effect off every single time, because if you don't, you just lose value, you get out tempoed by people, and then the deck just starts to fall apart. So with that in mind, like just keep in mind, right, it's like you have to run a ton of Wano. There's not a lot of like you can try and do supernova stuff. I've kind of tried other archetypes and everything. I just don't think it works. Basically it's Wano package, and you can throw in some tech cards, which in this case are just rush. So which, wouldn't you know, is really strong. But let's go over the rest. This 5 cost Izo, in my opinion, Izo and Denjiro are the 2 best cards in this deck that like pair with the leader effect. This one's super strong. This is a new card from EB01. On play, attach up to 1 rested Dawn to your leader or characters. So just already really strong right there. And it's a 5 cost 7k, which is great. No counter, but with Oden leader, this gets a plus 1k counter. So it's like the value on this card is crazy. And then when your opponent attacks once per turn, you can trash a card from your hand. Any card. It doesn't have to be Wano, anything. If your leader has Land of Wano or Whitebeard Pirate, so you can run this in like Ace or Newgate. Give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 2k for the turn. So really, really strong. Essentially, it's just like trash any card and you get an automatic minus 2k, but it's for the turn. So it's even better than just like a regular 2k counter, right? We're running 4. We have 3 Hidden Killers here. This card is amazing. You can run this at 4, honestly. I just don't have the room for it in this particular build. Just obviously you should know how strong this card is by now if you've played against Red Purple Law, even just in EB01. Extremely strong. This is going to be like our finisher. This is going to be people aren't always expecting this too, and they can't always play around it. So sometimes you can get that cheeky, they're at 3 life, you get a cheeky attack in, they take it, they go down to 2, and then it's like boom, for 4, now you have another 7k attacker. Really, really good. This Yamato, first of all, awesome scene, like what the illustration is from, that scene with Ace, just so good. Yeah, just another 5 cost that we can get on the board. This one, this Yamato feels like sometimes it feels bad to play this, but when you have no other options, it's actually pretty good. And the effect of like being able to give Arrested Dawn to one of your leaders or characters is so strong, because even if you're in a pinch on your 5 Dawn turn and you just want to get leader effect off, you just play this Yamato. Yes, you lose the 2k, but it's just really strong, and it's not like that easy to get rid of if you don't attack with it. So when you play this, it's probably going to stick for at least a turn or two before it either gets KO'd or like you feel like you have to swing with it. So just really good value overall. We're running 4 of the red Otamas here. I do like to run the green Otama when that comes out in OP07, but for now, you know, it's just another 2k. This card is a classic. It's still really good. Like, honestly, I think there are some lists in OP07 that run both Otamas, and I can see why, because it's just really strong. Like, when you need to clear board or get over a larger body, like sometimes just getting the -2k with this effect is really, really strong. And then for one of the centerpieces, if not the centerpiece of this deck, actually, I would say, is this Hiyori from EB01. Awesome card, one of the best alt arts. You know, I got 4 of these bad boys. But yeah, the effect of activate main, you can place this card into your trash, place up to 1 cost 5 or less land of Wano type character other than Hiyori from your hand into play, then draw 1 card. They didn't need to do that, but I'm so happy they did. They added that little effect of drawing 1 card. Which is so cool, and it's like fits perfectly with Hiyori of like kind of like disappearing and helping people and like changing things around, right? And just getting the draw is so huge. So what you do is you essentially just try and set up early game where you say if you're going second, you play Hiyori, and then immediately you use the effect into Izo or Yamato or Yamasan or Denjiro, right? And like with Izo, even at 4 Dawn, you play Izo out of Hiyori, and then you use the on play effect to give your leader +1 Dawn, and then boom, 7k leader. It's a 6k for your opponent's turn, and you just got a 5 cost 7k out for 4 Dawn on your turn too. It's the early game tempo here is huge. It's a lot like Kinemon, where with leader effect you could like cheat out strong characters early, right? Same kind of thing here, but just with like more versatility and more combo plays that you can do. Yamasan is just really good. 5 cost 7k, plus it's got a counter. This card is underrated. This actually sees a lot of play in OP07 in Yamato, like the Samurai builds, and even in Perona, the Samurai Perona build right now. It's just being able to cheat out a 5 cost 7k is really, really good, because even red purple law can't get rid of this for free, right? Or like even with just 1 Gordon, it's not enough. 4 Izos, just gotta run it. 1 of the Okiku here, and it's really just for the ACOS Oden. I've seen people do this, and I have friends who've shown me this tech from just, you know, running ACOS Oden. I remember I used to run like 1 Nekomamushi blocker too in my deck, at least just 1 for like during Kinemon, just to get with leader effect. But I like the Okiku here. It's just a little spice. You can take this away and put in another Kid and Killer. It's also just, you know, this is a 1k counter at the end of the day. And I do think there are certain matchups where this is actually still really strong, like if they can stay on the board, right? 4 Momo Searchers, you just gotta have it. It's really good. If you can't get all your pieces at the beginning, or if you're going first, even if you're going first or second, right? Second and you don't have your pieces, you just play Momo and search. Going first, if you don't, you just play it out. You know, it's better than nothing for a turn 1 play. Denjiro, this card is really good. Over time, I used to value Izo a little bit more than Denjiro, but over time, I've actually started valuing Denjiro even more, just because getting the Dawn back, the rested Dawn back 2 at a time is like, it's so good. Yes, Izo gives you the better early play if you play it off of Hiyori, but if you're at 5 Dawn and you have Hiyori and Denjiro, it's really, really good. And I've been conflicted on whether going first or second is better with Oden, because in certain matchups and certain times, like it kind of depends on what your hand is, right? Like, yes, if you have Hiyori going into Izo turn 2, going second, it's extremely strong. But sometimes, like, just having the ability to search, like go first, swing 6k and search with Momo on your 3 Dawn turn, and then play Hiyori into Denjiro and still be able to get leader effect off. It's just so strong. And yeah, over time I've come to value Denjiro maybe even slightly more than Izo. Just so good. 3 of the 8 cost Odins here. This is just he's really good. He's like what Zoro like wishes he was Zoro, right? Like the 9 cost Zoro is just better Oden. But this is just a 1k counter at the end of the day if you have nothing else. The on KO effect is still pretty good. Like honestly, once Sakazuki goes away, this card gets a lot more like value and is just stronger in general. And it's still good. Like this is still good into yellow. It's still good into Enel. You can run 9 cost Zoro in this deck. I just don't know how much value it actually gets in EB01. OP07 is a different story, and you might want to just run 9 cost Zoro, but you can run both, right? I'm just showing that like 8 cost Oden is still really strong because unfortunately we just don't have any other boss monsters for Wano. Like this is the highest it goes, right? And the fact that it's only an 8k kind of sucks. I don't know why Panda is just like, yeah, 8 costs are 8k, and then they're just like, except for Moria. We got 3 of the blocker, Nekomamushi, the cat vipers here, and I take this card out sometimes. I leave it in. It's kind of a tough choice for me to kind of like, I don't know. I love it sometimes. I hate it other times. The thing that I have found great utility with it recently is you just play it to protect because sometimes you only have 1 5 cost on your board and you need that card to stick, and instead of just like relying on countering out of everything and losing all your hand, losing all the cards from your hand, if you just have one of these down, like here's the thing too, is like, you know, if you play, say you get the turn 3 the Hyori into Denjiro with leader effect, and then you play like Izo and put 1 on Denjiro, Izo to put it on leader, and then Denjiro effect, and you get the 2 Dawn back. Like as long as you leave up 1 while you're still using Denjiro's effect, you get 3. Like you get at least 3 Dawn, right? And then you can play this out, and now you have Izo, Denjiro's rested because you attacked, but then you have Cat Viper, and so like you can save Denjiro without like, even if it's just you block immediately the next turn, it's still high value in my mind, and you can get it off of Oden. Just play it out for free, so it's really strong. 3 Hodis here. I don't know if people meme on Hody being in red green Oden, but it's actually like one of the strongest cards possible that you can have in this deck, because you just don't have a lot of ways to get around blockers. You can run this Yamato. I'll talk about this in a second, but yeah, Hody's amazing. Like obviously Hody's a really good card. It works really well in this deck because most of the time towards the end game, you want to have just as many characters on board, and you want to be just like pushing for lethal for your last couple turns. And again, when you're playing against Sakazuki, you're playing against Moria, you're playing against all these decks that run like, you know, that end up with 2 to 3 blockers on the board. Yeah, it's just really strong. It's amazing. And I do like 8 cost Dragon from OP07 too, so I'll show you guys that. But yeah, this is a staple in my opinion in the red green Oden deck, and yeah, just really strong. It can hurt if you have to take like your last or second to last life, but the thing is you have so much counter power in this deck that like most of the time it doesn't hurt you as bad as it even does in like say Yamato or something like that. So yeah, really strong. 2 Yumas. This is kind of a tech card right now. I just feel like this is so good into black, into red purple law, into even like Reiju and stuff. There have been times when I pulled both of these and I'm at my 8 or 10 Dawn turn, and because I just played out both and still had enough Dawn, like say if you're 9 or 10, I played out both of these and still had enough Dawn to put 1 on leader. I had a different 5 cost on the board, and I got rid of 2 of their characters, still attacked for 7k, and yeah, it like won me the game basically. The only thing is you don't want to see too many of them. It sucks. Ryuma, outside of Perona, Ryuma is just one of those cards where it's like you really don't want to see too many, but there are some games where you really wish you could see at least 1 or 2. So just for now, I have him at 2 here. He is searchable from Momo, and then he is searchable off of Otama from OP07. So yeah, just something to consider. But I would say that you can tech in the 4 cost Yamato here, the rest one. You can add more of your other cards, like you could add more Okiku, more Yamasan. You can run this, the Banish Yamato. I just really suggest running Banish Yamato while Sakazuki And while Moria has great eruption, it's just kind of like I know that only gets Yamato down to 3, but it's just so easy for them to like do that with other combos. Like Ice Age, boom, you're gone. It's just too easy. Like, yes, the pressure from having this Yamato on board is really good, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it's worth it. While Sakazuki and Great Eruption are still, and Reject. Honestly, the other reason too is like, not only does this get KO'd really easily in all of your black and like blue decks, like with removal, it also just gets KO'd by Reject. So it's like, if you play this against Yamato, you play this against Enel, like it's getting KO'd immediately. And unfortunately, like your opponent only using 4 Dawn to get rid of your 5 cost is like not that much of a problem for them, like in the case of Reject. So you lose too much tempo for how much like effort and resources you make your opponent use, if that makes sense. And then we got 4 Rad Beams. I think this is a must. I think you need to run at least, I mean really 2 to 4, I would say 3 to 4. I have some OP07 builds where I only run 3, and most of the time it's okay, but man, even then I find myself thinking like, I think I need to run this at 4. It's just too clutch. It's too clutch. You can leave up a Dawn in a lot of cases, and especially if you have like this Yamato on board, like it's so easy to reuse your like manage your resources and everything. But yeah, super duper strong. Having 1 to 2 Rad Beams and like whatever Wano cards you have left in hand at the end of the game, like dude, I've countered out of some like crazy, because you're a 6k leader most of the time too, so like you're 6k, I've countered out of like multiple like above 10k attacks just because of how much counter and events I had in my hand. And it just makes, if your opponent sees this too, it just makes them like calculating lethal harder for them, which is really, really good. You always love that kind of pressure. As far as other cards, I think that's about it. I don't think there's anything else I would really tech in here besides like the 4 cost. If you're feeling saucy, put in the 5 cost Banish Yamato. That's about it. You can run like 5 cost Rush Luffy. I've tried that card in this deck. It just never works. Kid and Killer ends up being better most of the time, and unfortunately, like, you think it would work because it gets around the blockers, but you end up like spending too much Dawn at the end of the day. Like at least 7 Dawn is just too much, and it's just an 8k attack, so normally they can counter out of it anyways. And Zoro, 3 cost Rush Zoro is okay. I think just Kid and Killer is better, right? Because you're not playing this early game anyways. You don't really have the Dawn to waste on Zoro when you need to be setting up your Wano and leader combo plays. But yeah, that is it. I have one more that one more deck list I want to show you guys, but that's the gist of it. That's the gist of this build for EB01. So let's look at the other list real quick. Okay, so this is another list, and this is, if you'll notice, there's no blockers. I took out the Cat Viper blocker, so this is like an aggro attack heavy build. I don't know if this is as well balanced as the other one, but like if there are a ton of Enels, if there's a ton of black yellow Luffys, and you feel like you're getting enough counter with just your cards that you already have, there's 4 Kid and Killers in this one, and then 2 Zoros. So basically balancing out the 3 cards I took out with Cat Viper. And yeah, I mean, it's against Enel, you put this down, hope they don't have Rygo. Against black yellow Luffy, if you can get this down safely, then you're probably going to win the game. It's even like 9-cost Zoro is extremely strong against black yellow Luffy all throughout OP07 as well. But I just wanted to show, this is a little bit more of a glass cannon-y approach, but you have like a little bit more rush, and then you have the better firepower and your top end. So yeah, just wanted to showcase this one. Let's take a look at some of the hands and the key cards for the decks. All right, I've already gone over most of the key cards, but this is them again. Obviously, what you want to do here, and like if you want to just be safe, just take second. Especially the thing with Oden too, I feel like, is maybe just on a base level you would like second, just because you can get that really nice tempo playoff with Hiyori. But if you're playing against Yamato, you can take first away from them. You know, that's the nice thing about this leader, is like it's not really set in stone that you have to go first or second. Kind of depends on like what curve you want to hit, and like what, if you want to search and then try and get the like Hiyori Denjiro, or if you just want to go second, you want to get the Hiyori Izo. Because the only problem is when you're going second and you don't have Hiyori or Izo, or you only have one or the other, it kind of sucks. And then you're just swinging maybe 7k and searching, hopefully, if you have a Momonosuke. But yeah, until we get Otama and have like 2 search options, it can be a little rough. So that's the only reason why I bring that up for going second. It doesn't like it. If you have all the cards, it's amazing, right? But if you don't, it can be kind of rough. But I think something to mulligan for here would probably be something like this, where it's like you want to have Hiyori is probably one of your main card here. Hiyori and a 5 cost, right? That's what you're looking for. So let's just say this, like, we'll just do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like, this would be really good. You have your search if you want to. You have your Hiyori into your 5 cost. Oh, sorry, this would be like a Hody or no, yeah, this could be whatever. This could be a 2K. This could be the Radical Beam. This could be 8 cost Oden. So this is kind of like a free space. These are the main 4 cards, honestly. It's like 1 form of rush, 1 form of search, and then something to set up your 4 Hiyori into your 5 cost. That's basically it. It's very straightforward, which is nice, and it makes your game plan simple, but it also means that if you are lacking like 1 to 2 to 3 of these pieces by your 2nd or 3rd turn, it really hurts. You lose so much tempo, and a lot of the times it can just lose you the game. Also, another thing too is like maybe if you're playing against black, you try and have a Ryuma in hand. Since you only have 2, I don't know if it's something you can actually mulligan for, but like against like Moria or something. Against Moria, against I don't know how well it'll do against Sakazuki, but there's a lot of matchups where being able to KO the 4 cost or less is really strong. But yeah, these are the hands, these are the key cards, and real quick, I just want to show you guys my OP07 deck list real quick. Alright, so I have 2 lists to show you real quick. I'm not going to go over everything, I just want to show you like kind of what's possible. If you really want to run Banish Yamato, you can. It's really strong against Enel, and it doesn't. You just don't play it against black unless you really just need to get like the leader effect off. That's why I'm only running 3. You can still get it off with Hiyori, but yeah. So Banish Yamato fans, rejoice! I love this card. Trust me, I've tried to force it into as many decks as possible, especially throughout OP07. It can definitely just become a feels bad man card though after a while. This is running the new Otama and the You Can Be My Samurai. So this is taking a page out of the samurai build from Yamato that you can do. I think it's really strong in this deck too, because you can, if you have a Momo or 2 Hioris on Otamas, or you do the Otama Hiyori and then you play this, you rest both of these, and then you can still use Hiyori's main activate main effect. So really strong. And then you have 3 Zoro here, because just it all depends on your meta, right? Like I was saying, like if there's a ton of Enel, a ton of Black Yellow Luffy, 3 Zoro I think is totally justified. This card is just amazing into a lot of matchups, even if it can get removed. Like even against black, like if you get lucky, they can't KO it, they don't have a Stussy, like this card is still really good. So yeah, because as long as you have a Zoro into Hody, you always have the ability of like resting 2 things, still having the 3 and swinging 9k to try and go for a game. But yeah, there's one other one, so let me show you guys that real quick. All right, so this is the list that I actually have been running lately. And there's one caveat here, is where it's like, it really depends. If there's a ton of Enel, run 3 Zoro. If there's not, you can take him out and run this. I know there's 54 cards here. I'm just trying to show you, like, these are kind of interchangeable. This is not totally necessary. I just like using it because I feel like if you can get this off and you get the extra card advantage as Oden, then you can like basically defend yourself against anything. But I would say these are kind of like 3 tech card slots. You can run Whitebeard if you really want to. I don't think the Whitebeard like variants of this deck really work that well, but 9 cost Whitebeard can be strong. I just feel like it hurts you most of the time because you don't have the Dawn for leader. Whereas Zoro is kind of similar, but at least like like I'm just going for game next turn. So if you play it, you like are basically need to be sure that you can survive the next turn anyways. Whitebeard doesn't really give you that like safety net of just knowing that like if he sticks, you win basically. So because of that, I really like running this dragon. And honestly, you could run this at 3. You could run like Kid and Killer at 3 and Dragon at 3. But I feel like the deck is just with Otama and like having the Hiyori stuff being able to go off and like getting that early search almost guaranteed. It's a lot smoother of a build. And if you get the card draw with this, so this is just like another like kind of hybrid version that I wanted to show you. But right now, I'm actually running it more like this. I took out 3 Zoros, I put in the dragons, and I just feel like against black, at least you kind of have a shot with some of the rush. Like you could take Yamato down and put in more of these if you want. It just really sucks if you do end up with a ton of non-Wano cards in your hand, so you got to be careful because it needs to be a character. That's the other thing. Like the events, you can't use them as a 1k counter, which would be awesome. I kind of think they could have included this and it would have been fine. I don't think it would have been too broken. But yeah, these are my OP07 lists. Again, just, you know, Oden is still pretty hard to, you know, to do well with even in OP07. But I think if you put in enough practice and you learn the matchups and you tech to like your local meta and everything, I think you can have a real good shot with Sakazuki out of the way. Because that was really like the main gatekeeper for this deck. So yeah, that's it for all of the decks and the key cards and the hands and all that jazz. So let's jump into some gameplay. All right, Ace. We think we definitely want to steal second from them. No. Oh, if we can just get Hiyori, this will be strong. This will be really strong. Oh, we got it, baby. We got it. Only a Momo search there would have been the next best thing. Actually, I don't want to take this. I think I'm gonna give him the Nekomamushi blocker. Okay, that's decent for him. Oops. Oh, this is strong for us. Although him being able to buff higher than us kind of hurts. So it's gonna just come down to how much luck he can get out of his... Okay, that's really good. And he can't Hiyori or anything this turn. So yeah, just gonna do that. We take that. Ryuma doesn't really help us, so we can definitely get rid of him if we need to. I think I'm gonna get some pressure on the board. Although this would, if he's running Gravity Blade, we're just setting ourselves up for a devastating turn. Let's do this. Because Gravity Blade trigger still gets rid of Vizo. Shit, okay. Peel off kind of sucks too. This dude's drawing mad cards right now. Gonna play Yamasan and pass. He's running Viola, okay. So we know he has ways to get out of... It's just, I mean, if he whiffs, that's the thing, right? That's what's best for us. Oh, damn. Sabo doesn't use Sabo. Not bad. Not bad, sir. The nice thing is all of these attacks are just a 2k away from us as long as we get leader effect off, right? Like the 7k swings. Alright, Denjiro, probably. 8-cost Oden would be nice, actually. Not gonna lie. If I had Momo, I'd probably try and search him out this turn. Unfortunately, we can't play 2 things here. So we'll save 5. We have 3 Dawn to work with. So we could swing 8 and 8. He's only a 5. I think we go 7-9. 7-9 Denjiro. This is strong. This is strong. We're getting the pressure. I wanted him to have to take that, but yeah, that makes sense. He would definitely counter that. Yeah, he still has 8 cards. It's just kind of bonkers. He hasn't been able to do much with Lee. Ooh, oh man. That's the thing with Ace, is it matters more if you get it late game. It doesn't really matter as much if you whiff early on. This is so much better for him. Do we save this? He can just attack in with that if we do. I'd love to go for game next turn, but he'd have at least 2 more. Yeah, there's no. I don't think it's worth losing all the resources in our hand. This though, I think I'm gonna give him the Yuma. It's just this unplayable in this match. We could get out of this too, because he might have another. If he has another rush ace, we're just kind of screwed. So I'm gonna do this. Yep, and we'll take that one. Figured that's what he had. Thing is here, do we just go for game? We could see how this first attack goes, and then basically leave one up for Rad Beam. What if we have 10, right? What if we swing 10 so we can use Rad Beam and Ezo if all else fails. 10 is just a 3k counter though. What if we did for him 10, 11 and 12 is maybe better? Now let's test the waters. I like my original plan better, because we may have to shift here. Although I feel like we can survive it. He'd have to split up his Dawn so well. He took it. Alright. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I feel like he can get out of 12. I really do. Dang it. He's 7. What would I get rid of? Let's risk it. Let's go 12. Oh, dang. That was really risky on my end. But we had the Rad Beam. GG's to that guy. That was really, really risky from me. I'm not gonna lie. But I felt like he would probably try. I wish, hold on, can we see? It looks like he had a Luffy he could have chosen. He didn't have any targets. And then with like getting all the cards out of his hand, would have been hard for him to use leader effect. So he would have just split up his Dawn. Like realistically, the other thing too is like if we played Ezo, we'd still have to trash a card. So this just becomes a 2k, and at that point it might have just been better to keep both of these in hand, you know what I mean? And just use Rad Beam as is. So like the way I was thinking about it was that, where it's like instead of wasting the 5 Dawn to play Ezo just to get this into a 2k, just keep these as a 2k. Go for this. If he doesn't have it, we win like we did. And just always leaving up the 1 Dawn for Rad Beam just in case. Because we were 6k. If we had another 2k, if 1 or 2 of these were 2ks, I would have felt really safe. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. He would have had the 5th attack, so maybe. But he would have used 5 Dawn for that. So I actually do think, like, unless he just mathed it out perfectly, and it's hard for him to know. I have 5 cards and 1 Dawn up, like, kind of too difficult to tell. But yeah, got a little bit lucky there at the end, but sometimes you just got to go for it because you do get rewarded. I'm just thinking like a Yamato player here. But it works with Oden too. So GG's to that guy. Alright, Purple CROC, purple yellow CROC. I have no clue how this will go. We're going second. I feel like the Yamasan might actually be strong here. Do a search here. Nah, I guess in that case we'll do Ezo. We do want to get some early pressure. Yellow purple CROC is just so good late game against decks that have no removal, so us. Yuma actually might be decent to get rid of, like, you know, he doesn't have Miss Valentine yet, huh? I think that's OP07. Okay. We have this. Next turn could be strong, or even this Yamato. Bon Clay. Definitely forgot about Bon Clay. That's strong. That would actually be really strong. That's right. I forgot about that too. Yuma is also, I teched it in for Bon Clay for like red purple law. It can just be really strong. Maybe Yamato or Yamasan? I think Yamasan's gonna help us get the better pressure here. We can get the card cycle with Hiyori. So that's 4. We have 2 Dawn to work with. We go 7, 8, play Yamasan. It always feels so good against... Oh, beige, dude, come on. In that case, we'll just play this out. I mean, we still could have got the card draw, but... Oh, that sucks, dude. And like, normally, you might just keep that, but because you know I don't get leader effect off. I don't play against a lot of yellow purple CROC, so I'm not thinking about all of the possibilities here. That's kind of my bad. Alright, we got Denjiro, that's good. Honestly, Yuma would be so huge here. I really don't want him to get this KO. He might be playing another Bon Clay, which would suck. That would suck so bad. I think we're just gonna do this. Yeah. I need to keep this Hody. Kikunojo. Yeah, and if he's got Okama away. Damn it, dude. No, no Yuma. Because that would have been perfect. We still could have swung with all 3 of these. Man. Oh my god. I'd love to just swing 5. Because, oh, no. Yeah, he can't, right? Yeah. Okay. He doesn't have a Dawn up. I think we need the card draw this time. So I'm going to save 4 for Hiyori then. We could go 8. No. We should just go like 8. We could just go 7 into Bon Clay, and then 9, 7, 8, 9. Play Denjiro. We have 1, 2. Yeah. I mean, we're still getting a lot of good pressure, but he's got CROC next turn, so it just sucks. Okay. Bro, no, that's not the card we need right now. Alright, this is looking very bad. And you just... Okay, no free KO though. Honestly, CROC is worse than Yamato to me in this situation, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, he literally can't tack into anything here, so we'll just get rid of this. That is pretty clutch. Alright. I think we just have to go for game here. We'll save 4 for the Kid and Killer, like, keep that in mind here, because we need 3 attacks to go through. He has no he has no Dawn up. No way to return Dawn. I mean, we could do 9, 9, 9, 10, and just see how it goes. Go increments of attacks of 9. Just if he doesn't get another beige or something. No, you know what? I'm gonna do this first. Okay. Oh, alright, GG's, they disconnected. I think they should have played this CROC if they had it. Because what I was about to do, too, is I was going to play this Kid and Killer for 4, and then put the 1 on Denjiro, and then get 2 back. So we would have gone 7, 8. Yeah, that's would have been 4, and then 1. And then we would have been 2. It would have been 7, 8, 9. We'd have had another 7, then 8, then 9. So we got it. Yeah. Oh no, this is EB01. Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Sorry. It's been a minute since EB01 actually came out for me over here in Japan. I'm mixing them all up with OP7 just because you don't see this a lot just like in the meta and stuff. I think this is a cool deck though. It's really strong. I like how yellow purple croc you can do a lot of stuff like on your opponent's turn, and just like there's a lot of combo plays, but I think it just loses to more aggro-y decks and a lot of like the black kind of KO control-y decks. Even though it is kind of a control deck itself, I think it does lose to more of the KO stuff. Like in against any other in any other situation, this board would have been like such a menace, but we just successfully got everything up, and I think I did a good job. It was risky, kind of like protecting things that one turn, but I think it was worth it in the end. I was worried because I think if he had played this CROC instead, I think he well, I think it's just because he didn't have the counters and he didn't have the events and stuff that he would have needed to fully utilize it, so I kind of get it. But yeah, GG's to that guy. That was a good game.
Okay.